Hi, Laurie MacNaughton, Atlantic Coast Mortgage. And today we're going to be talking about reverse for purchase. Reverse for purchase is a home purchase loan, much like any other home purchase loans, with a couple of nifty differences, which we'll be going into. At Birchwood, at Brambleton, they've asked me to talk about this because obviously if you're talking to Birchwood at Brambleton, you're looking into downsizing or right-sizing your home. And we're going to be going low tech. We're not going to be using any kind of fancy graphics, but we're going to illustrate reverse for purchase in a couple different ways. The first thing I'm going to do actually is use a pad of paper to define some terms. So nifty little pad of paper here. This is the home you're in now. This we're going to call, for clarity's sake, the exit home. That's not going to come into question in today's discussion because we're going to assume that you've sold this home. You've sold it, you've handed off the keys to the next family that's going to love your home, your former home. But what we're talking about now is your new home at Brambleton. So you'll work with the design team and the sales team there. You'll get a ratified purchase contract on your new home. And this is the home we're going to be talking about today. This is how reverse for purchase works. You'll bring a down payment, the size of which is determined by your age. The older you are, the smaller is the down payment. But we're going to assume, for argument's sake, during this discussion, that you're about 62, which is the minimum age for a reverse for purchase. You'll bring a down payment that will be about 50%. And I'm going to label this down payment. Down payment. The loan amount makes up the rest of the purchase price. Down payment plus loan amount. And I call this the big, well, duh, right? That's how any mortgage works. Down payment plus loan amount, purchase price of the home. But here's the difference. With a forward loan, you spend basically the rest of your natural life making payments, and you pay them in a forward direction. With a reverse for purchase, there is no monthly mortgage payment. You live in that house for the rest of your life or for as long as you would like to. You certainly can sell at any time without penalty. When the last person on title permanently leaves the home will be sold either by you or by the kids. The loan will be repaid on the back end in reverse. The kids inherit the rest. So to review this, just to go over it one more time, at the time when no title holder is any longer living in the home, the loan, whatever's due on the loan, will be repaid in reverse upon sale of the home. The kids will inherit, or the surviving title holder will inherit, the rest of the equity, including any appreciated value in the home. What gets repaid is the loan amount and nothing more. So the loan, which is composed, of course, of mortgage plus interest, the kids get the rest, including any appreciated value of the home. So I'm going to go back to mention one thing, however, about the exit home, the home you've just sold. In many cases, the funds, we're going to do kind of a Wile E. Coyote money bag here. In many cases, the funds for the down payment on the new home are derived from the sale of the exit home, but that's not necessary. If you decide for some reason that you'd like to keep that home and use it for, say, a rental property, that is allowable with reverse for purchase. But in most cases, to be realistic, in most cases, people sell this home and use some of the proceeds as the down payment on the purchased property. I'm going to address one thing real quickly. Why would somebody decide to go this route versus a traditional loan or paying all cash? We're going to use some numbers from this area. So let's say you sell a home in Reston and you've just sold this home for $900,000. And just to live in a make-believe world here, we'll pretend that you put all $900,000 into the bank. And now you're going to buy, let's say, a $600,000 home at Birchwood at Brambleton. So numbers would dictate that you could just buy that in cash. But if you've purchased that home in cash, what have you just done with $600,000? Well, of course, you've turned liquidity into illiquidity. And study after study from retirement research institutes have proven that access to liquidity is the single biggest indicator of financial survivability in retirement. Even more so than most times in life, access to liquidity is key in retirement. So then people talk about, okay, well, then we'll just finance the home. So you have to qualify, first of all. In today's environment, that can be a little tough, but let's say you do qualify, you take out a mortgage, and then of course, you spend the next 15 or 30 years repaying that. When you're in your 60s, that might not be any big deal, but let's say you have a 30-year mortgage, you get to be 72, you have another 20 years to go, you might be encountering health issues. 10 years on, you're 82. Most people at that point have increased need for access to cash, and you still have another 10 years to go on that mortgage. With reverse for purchase, you get into the home and then you never are required to make a mortgage payment. The loan will be repaid on the back end in reverse when you no longer need the home. We're going to switch over now to this image. This is your new home at Birchwood at Brambleton. I call this the pickle jar. This is the purchase price of the home. And for argument's sake, I'm going to use round numbers. I'm going to say this is $600,000 purchase. This represents your down payment. You come to the table more or less with 50%. If you're older than 62, your down payment's going to be smaller. But I've put this couple right here is right at 62. So their down payment's about 50%. The loan amount makes up the other 50%. And you've purchased that home, that exact same home, and you don't have a monthly mortgage payment. I often get asked, well, what if I want to pay the mortgage? And that is absolutely okay. If you would like to make a mortgage payment either monthly or periodically, or if you would like to make a mortgage payment and then stop making a mortgage payment, if you need better cash flow in any given month, you certainly can. Putting these little chocolates back into the pickle jar here to represent a mortgage payment. So you're putting money back into the pickle jar. This has a couple of benefits. First of all, obviously, you're increasing your equity position. But additionally, when you put money back in above what you were required to, you later can then access that. You can pull that back out. That becomes functionally a line of credit. You can pay it all the way off up to, you can hold open that loan with $100 due, and then you have access to that, which you can take back out again and use for any purpose. That is strictly your equity you can take out. When the last person on title no longer occupies the home, the kids will sell the home. The loan, whatever's due on the loan, will be repaid. The kids get the rest of the equity. The loan becomes due and payable when there is no longer a title holder resident in the home. Now, if somebody, we'll use a common example, somebody takes ill, they go into the hospital, and let's say for argument's sake, somebody breaks a hip, goes into the hospital, and then of course we know they typically don't come straight back home again, but rather they go into rehab, and then they may get sent home. As long as you're back home within 1 calendar year, that does not constitute a failure to occupy. But once you've been out of that home full time for more than 1 calendar year, odds drop to just about zero that you'll be coming home. And so at that point, you need to decide what to do about the home. It's your home. You're the title holder. And as the title holder, you'll pay your property taxes if applicable. Some people, of course, are property tax exempt, but we'll assume that you'll pay your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your HOA dues, and then routine upkeep of the home, normal and customary routine upkeep of the home. I'm trying to think of other questions. You can go ahead and answer or ask questions in the little question in the chat box here. And it's what I'll do is I'll insert those later. I'm not super good about typing in answers as we go. So I'll go ahead and insert that in the video screen afterward. And then you'll also have my contact information. You can call me directly if you'd like. I see I have some questions coming in here, but as I mentioned, I'll go ahead and answer those questions at a later time and post those so that you can go back and refer to those. The down payment. So again, we're going to refer to this part as the down payment. The down payment can be derived from any non-loan source. So you can't borrow money. You can't take a loan to get a loan. Just like with any other loan, you can't take a loan to get a loan. So this can be derived either from the sale of the exit home, which we talked about a minute ago, or from cash on hand, from the sale of investments, and gift monies. Gift monies are perfectly okay with reverse for purchase, and it happens actually surprisingly frequently that adult children will assist parents with a down payment when necessary. So I'm trying to think if there are any other common questions that I get, and you certainly can feel free to contact me at any time. Again, my name is Laurie MacNaughton. I always say that funny, improbable looking last name. When I was a school teacher, I used to say, you pronounce it like there's a knot in my shoelace, MacNaughton. I do have some little tiny YouTube videos. These are not involved, complicated YouTube videos. They're cartoons, but they walk you through the fundamentals of both how a reverse for purchase works, and then there are some other reverse mortgage products I address. One of the biggest things that people point to, I've done many reverse for purchase loans over the years, and the thing that most people point to is just the flexibility of the loan, having access to more of your monthly income. The older you get, the deeper you get into retirement, the more important that becomes. So I think that's about it. And I look forward to talking to you. I certainly appreciate Birchwood at Brambleton's giving us this opportunity to address this wonderful purchase product. And I am sure you are going to love working with them. And I'll look forward to talking to you. Take care. Bye-bye.